Hey there. Today let's talk about the film The Murder of Mary Phagan. Now, if you haven't heard of this movie, you may want to listen up. This is something a little extra special. The movie came out in 1988, stars Jack Lemmon and a whole bunch of other faces that went on to having very distinguished acting careers, but they were young, somewhat unknown at that time. This movie is set apart. It's a very unusual story. It's a true story. It's about an event that happened in 1913, but the resolution to the story didn't occur until just before this movie was made. So that caught my attention. That's how I happened to see it and watched it for that reason. 3 hours and 42 minutes long. Even if you see it in more than one session, it is well worth it. It's a very effective period piece. It also is a standout in the sense that that wasn't a decade that was known for a lot of depth in filmmaking. That wasn't really where either Hollywood or television was going at the time. So this is really, really very different. The cinematography is great. The direction is great. The acting is just the absolute best. The first half of the movie centers around the main character, of course, but the second half of the movie belongs to Jack Lemmon. He pretty much takes it over just by his sheer presence. This is not a drawback to the film. It's a plus. It becomes almost a different kind of movie then. It is still the same story, but it's almost like it's in two big chapters. It's the first time this story has been told on film. Now, there was a movie made back in the 30s, okay, so the fairly early sound films that Hollywood did on this story, but they basically threw out the whole premise of the story. Instead of it being about anti-Semitism, they made it about the discrimination against a Christian. The film, The Murder of Mary Phagan, is based on the book called And the Dead Shall Rise. And I have to say that the film is historically accurate to a surprising degree. There's only one item I can think of in the film that was kind of dressed up for dramatic effect. After you watch this film, please report back to me and see what you saw about it. I thought when I went online and tried to find out what different people had thought about it, I expected there to be kind of a range. Oh, the movie is too long, or I'm not into this kind of thing. But it was given 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 by people across the board. This is a very rich experience. And something happens that there's kind of a tipping point. Instead of it just being about what is occurring with this character who's suffering anti-Semitism, it becomes kind of Jack Lemmon's movie in that the focus is now how he's reacting to these events that happened. But you have to watch his acting from that point on. From the point where there is a new hearing, you have to see this and see how he handles his lines with such intensity. If you've seen the movie 12 Angry Men, the second half of this film becomes almost like a part two to that kind of experience.